For teleSUR, I'm Cody Weddle in Caracas, Venezuela. In Peru, President Ollanta Humala has declared a state of emergency in areas affected by Saturday's 5.1 magnitude earthquake. The earthquake killed 8 people and destroyed almost 600 homes. It hit the Cusco region in southeast Peru. That's the home of Incan citadel Machu Picchu. The area remains at risk due to aftershocks. Humanitarian aid has started to arrive. In Afghanistan today, after 3 months of debate over electoral fraud, the country has a new president. Former finance minister and chancellor of Kabul University, Ashraf Ghani, took the post Monday morning, succeeding Hamid Karzai. It marked Afghanistan's first democratic transition of power. The former academic and employee of the World Bank will face the withdrawal of NATO troops from Afghanistan, who have remained in the country for 13 years. Despite their presence, they were unable to rid Afghanistan of Taliban militants. As a background to Ghani's inauguration, 2 explosions rocked the Afghan capital of Kabul. The first bomb exploded in the principal highway between the airport and the presidential palace. No deaths were reported. In the second attack, a suicide bomber detonated himself a mile from the airport. According to security officials, that blast killed 6 people. Obviously, we have the wrong video there. Moving now to Syria, where the U.S.-led coalition continues its attack against the Islamic State. After nearly a week of deadly air raids in Syria, the British-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reports that the latest strikes may have accidentally hit a food storage facility, having mistaken it for a militant base. The attacks killed at least 50 civilians over the weekend, as well as hundreds of militants. The nonprofit also reports that as winter approaches, the strikes are raising fuel prices in Syria by as much as 50 to 100%. U.S. President Barack Obama has admitted that his country underestimated the insurgent group, which aims to form a caliphate in the Middle East. Turkey has placed tanks on its border with Syria after Islamic State shelling targeting the Syrian city of Kobani hit Turkish territory. The Turkish government will debate this week whether to engage the militants militarily. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says that the U.S.-led airstrikes will only provide a temporary solution. And while the Turkish government debates its next move, members of the Kurdish ethnic group who live in the region are fighting back against the Islamic State. The border town of Kobani is being protected by the Kurdish resistance forces, the People's Protection Units, and the Kurdish Workers' Party. In Iraq, the Kurdish army continues holding key towns in its northern territories as the insurgents approach areas protected by Iraqi troops. And now to Latin America and Brazil, where just 1 week before the presidential elections, the once tight polls are starting to break for the incumbent. Candidates participated in their 4th and final televised debate last night. Incumbent President Dilma Rousseff has recently pulled ahead in the polls from her main opponent, Marina Silva. Recent surveys give Rousseff 40% support compared with 29% for Silva. Third-place candidate Aécio Neves has garnered between 15 and 20% support in recent polls. Rousseff continued to hit back against opponents' claims of corruption within her government.
I want to emphasize one theme. I have and never will tolerate corruption. I have exposed crimes that others have tried to sweep under the carpet. I haven't buried evidence of corruption. On the contrary, I am the only candidate who has offered policies to combat the impunity received by public servants who have committed crimes.
To West Africa now, and an update on the Ebola virus, which has killed almost 3,000 people since December. The outbreak has led authorities in Sierra Leone to implement the world's largest quarantine zone, which includes over 1 million people, in what officials there have called an extraordinary period requiring extraordinary measures. 3 districts and 12 tribal chiefdoms in the north of the country have been placed on lockdown. Along with other quarantined areas, this new imposition means that over 1/3 of the country's population is now unable to move about freely. A month and a half after the killing of young African-American Mike Brown, protesters are back on the streets of Ferguson, Missouri in the United States. Some 150 people gathered outside the police department yesterday demanding the arrest of the officer who shot Brown. 8 were arrested at the protest. Some of the anger was directed at Missouri State Governor Jay Nixon, who admitted he did not read any of the complaints from citizens after Brown was shot. In Ukraine today, more fighting around the Donetsk airport threatens the fragile peace process. It comes as separatist militants have reported finding another mass grave. It marks the 4th mass grave found in the eastern territory recently abandoned by government forces. The finding takes place against the backdrop of the 73rd anniversary of the Babi Yar massacre, in which 100,000 Jews were executed by the Nazis. And to France, where the far-right National Front has won 2 seats in Senate elections. The party is gaining popularity following its rebranding by leader Marine Le Pen, taking advantage of widespread dissatisfaction with France's stagnant economy and high unemployment. The governing Socialist Party, led by President Francois Hollande, has seen its popularity plummet to just 13%. In sports, Venezuela native Jose Altuve won the American League batting title yesterday after going 2 for 4 in the Houston Astros' final game of the season against the New York Mets. From the city of Maracay, Altuve finished the season with a .341 batting average, edging out fellow Venezuelan Victor Martinez of the Detroit Tigers. Altuve becomes the 4th Venezuelan to take home the title. Over the past 7 years, Venezuelans have won the batting title 5 times. And on a cultural note, Mafalda, Argentina's most beloved and well-known cartoon character, turns 50 today. Created by graphic artist Kino, Mafalda comics have been translated into 26 languages and in Argentina have sold more than 20 million copies. Mafalda's character is an irreverent and incisive young girl from a Buenos Aires middle-class family. She was known for questioning the world and the political reality of her time with ruthless ingenuity. More on those stories and others at our website, telesurtv.net/English. For teleSUR English, I'm Cody Weddle. We'll see you right back here in just a few hours.